Hello, welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveci, your host. I'm welcoming you episode 105th. It's an exciting week for us. We are getting more and more episodes, over 100, and that's very motivation. And today's number is nearly 40% of all businesses are woman-owned in the United States. And as you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com, and we share quote of the day with you. And quote of the day today is failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. Well, speaking of women-owned businesses, we have a great guest today. We'll talk about women in business. More as Business Podcast is an informative business podcast, and we bring you the informative content in each episode. Let's invite our guests to our virtual stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Michelle. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much for being with us in your busy schedule, and happy Friday. How is your week going so far?
So far, so good. I'm anxiously awaiting next week for all the Thanksgiving fun.
Yes, Thanksgiving is great. It's a great time for family, being with the loved ones. So I'm also looking forward to it. Well,
Yeah.
the good news is start.
Yes, almost there.
Sounds great. Well, if that's okay, let's get our conversation started. We have a lot to learn from you, and our also audience and listeners will be also learning about your learning from your professional insights and from your professional wisdom. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our listeners and to our viewers?
So, my name is Michelle Taylor. I have been a licensed wealth manager for the last decade plus, and in the last 2 years have also launched a separate company that is a passion project of mine called Women in Wealth, and that is all around changing the way women think and feel about money.
This is really exciting, and well, we like to emphasize women in business today. Is our today's number is 40. About 40% of businesses actually owned by women. So that's great. It comes to around 14 million businesses, which is very inspiring when we think about it. So I'm glad we are talking about it today.
Yeah.
Would you please tell us about your career journey a little bit? How did you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Oh, Kevin, it started in the most interesting way. It's definitely not been a straight line. I went to business school and never thought that I would end up in this space and managing wealth. I am a child of two amazing parents, but both of them, through a divorce, were showing me a lot of different things, but not really talking about money. So I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur like my dad. And as I went through school, I didn't understand that the life I was envisioning could be a product of being a business owner. So I kind of tried a lot of different things. I was actually pre-dental in college for a little while and realized that what I really wanted to do was create something, build a legacy, and decided to go into business school. And in that same respect, also not knowing what I wanted to do. So I have always been a lover of fashion and really stumbled across something that became a business plan. And it was my first opportunity to dip my toes into the entrepreneurial pool. I developed a product and took it to market and was so excited. However, because of some personal things, I am a survivor of childhood leukemia. Actually, I was 17, but because of that, had to go through IVF to have my kiddos, and it unfortunately happened at the same time. So because of all of these things going on, I pivoted. I decided also to open a boutique and import goods from Western Europe. My best girlfriend and I moved to Italy. And so got to do some really fun things there. And ultimately, because of timing. That was in 2007 and 8, not the perfect time to be importing anything into the US with a weak dollar. I pivoted again. And in this, I learned with my dad, part of being a business owner and an entrepreneur is learning to lean into a good idea, but also learning when you needed to change direction. So, through those two opportunities, I took so many of those lessons and decided that I wanted to help other women, business owners, and people that aspired to be business owners and get them prepared for what that all meant. So I went into wealth management, put those business degrees to good use, and for the last decade have really niched down into using those past experiences of building a business to help other women and work almost exclusively with female founders at this point.
This is really exciting. Well, how about your day-to-day work experience? What are the exciting and challenging parts of your work on daily basis?
The best part of what I do is getting to meet the so many different women and being able to recognize a version of myself in exactly the space that they're in. And what I love so much is being able to take other clients' hindsight of things that we've had to learn from and make it applicable to them, but using it as foresight to avoid some of the pitfalls that happen. So I always love when that happens, when I'm able to provide value and hear someone's story and realize that I know the solution that's going to save them a lot of time and money as they build a business or their own personal wealth. And I would say the most challenging part is when I see the solution right in front of someone and can't get them to get there. And sometimes we have to learn on our own, and that's okay. But it definitely is the hardest part of what I do.
How do you see the state of women building wealth nowadays?
Well, I think what you mentioned in the beginning about the speed in which women are starting businesses in the US is incredible. I think, as you know, and being that this is the theme of your podcast, building a business is just such an opportunity to build wealth. And with more women in that space, inevitably, there's more and more women that are controlling their own financial futures, but also the decision making that's happening in the household. And just in general, the purchasing power that comes with a dollar being spent in this country now falls almost entirely on women. And I think that that is something that my grandparents and even parents would be proud of because it's definitely changed. You know, it was only in 1988 that a woman could have a business loan opened in her name without a male cosigner, which is so hard to believe. But I do think that with access to information and with podcasts and so many tools that women are allowed to learn at their own pace and have so many tools at their disposal, it is just the very best time to be a woman building wealth in the United States.
What is your take on AI? How do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays?
So, in my industry, this is a hot topic because AI is an absolute game changer. It's a fantastic tool. I encourage everybody to use it as a tool. So, you don't want to take what it says literally. You know, AI can make mistakes, but it's a great resource to start to ask the right questions and know what those questions actually are. Now, on the flip side of the coin, especially in my industry, we see a lot of people saying that they want to do their own planning with the help of AI. And in some situations, that's okay. For young people that are just starting out and are on autopilot, it's a wonderful resource when you may not be at the point where you need to bring in help. You'll be paying more in fees than you're investing. With that being said, I think so much of what we do around building a business, building wealth, there is an emotional component to that that is never going to be able to be replicated by AI. So I see AI changing the landscape on so many things, on efficiency, on getting quick answers, finding out the tools and resources that you need to go after something. But I also see it as an amazing reminder that humans need humans. And yes, automations make business easier. Uh, Chat GBT or something similar makes finding answers quicker and more um, easy. But at the end of the day, you really cannot succeed at the same pace without the human touch because that's what all humans need to be fulfilled.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that. I actually went to a networking event yesterday. That was leadership in of AI. And we had a great presenter, Joseph Beauchamp and Beauchamp team. So he made a great presentation. Well, eventually, AI is a tool, he was saying. And
Yeah.
then, just don't take it as if it is a god, right? It's basically a tool that's designed to help us. So his suggestion was at the end of the presentation, get your AI as in human, take your AI and use them together. That was his bottom line that he was actually sharing with us. So just to support your point, so it's a great tool, but it's a tool. So we need to use it, utilize it, but remember that that is a tool. That was the bottom line of that presentation yesterday.
And you're right, Kevin. And I think that the goal for anybody should look at AI as that tool, and you want to fill your proverbial toolbox with as many options as possible. So you don't want one thing to be your go-to over something else. You want to be able to pull out the tools as you need them and as the situation dictates. And I think that for anybody that's ignoring AI or thinks it's going away, it is certainly not. It is an amazing tool, a time saving tool, but one that needs to work in partnership with other things.
Yes, absolutely. This is a great conversation. And when it comes to AI, we can literally talk for hours.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
that's a fascinating conversation. And I agree with you. This here to stay. And we had a guest a couple of months ago, Dave Kerr from Kerr Consulting, and he actually said one thing I can. He said that you better learn AI, take your place. Who knows how to use AI? So
Yeah,
something to keep in mind, I think, for all of us as business professionals.
and, I think it's very interesting. Something else that, is a hot topic people have been discussing is so many positions can be replaced by AI, but there are certain things like in the trades and of course being a business owner that will never be replaced. And as people are coming through school and into the workforce, it really does pose a good thought to say, should I be considering something that AI cannot replace? Because I do think that so many of the things that we do are going to go that way.
You actually mentioned earlier about your business experience, and you mentioned how you pivoted and updated and change of the times or the conditions.
Yeah.
What to do during how to survive uncertainty and crisis from business point of view? What businesses should do in the case of crisis or uncertainty? What are the best practices you will say will be?
I would say the number one thing that all of us should be doing is setting ourselves up to be in a position where times of uncertainty for the majority of people are times of opportunity for us. And what I mean by that is if you are a business owner and you're growing and scaling your business, I would be right now, none of us have a crystal ball. I think that in markets like this, there's always areas of opportunity that you need to be prepared for. So as you see the dips in the market and where the media and human nature tell us to be nervous or scared of those times, we all need to learn to condition ourselves to be in a position where when something like that happens, when the stock market is in a recession or is down 10% or 20%, Or when something like a COVID happens and people are trying to get out of their business because they didn't plan effectively, we need to be in a position that we have the tools, money, to go after some of those resources and either buy into the market when it's on sale because it will always recover. That's what historical data tells us. Or if you're a business owner, there are going to be people in your industry that are exiting and are going to want to be exiting as quickly as possible. And if you are in a position to buy a piece of the market, you don't want to miss that opportunity because that's when real wealth and growth and scale happen for not only us as investors, but us as business owners.
I like to talk about marketing a little bit. Based on your professional experience, what are the best marketing practices that bring the highest ROI?
So I think everybody is marketing, even if they think that they're not. We are always selling. There's actually a great book called To Sell is Human. And I think that you have to be aware of that. So, how you are positioning yourself in today's day and age is extremely important to your business. I love to use social media as a way to show people what I do, the people that I can help, but also give them a little bit of a personal view of who I am and what matters to me. I think that right now, I mean, that's where so much of what we do is happening. Where the marketing is happening is on social media. So I think any business owner needs to have a presence there, even if it's not necessarily, going to be super helpful to your industry. For example, my dad owned a window and door company. Maybe someone's not going onto social media to follow content of what they're saying. They are going onto social media to search for your company at a rate like we've never seen. So you want to have a presence on social media and all of those platforms because people are looking there. But when it comes to the biggest ROI, I think that unless you are truly dialing into a client and creating a personal connection with what you're doing within that relationship, you're missing the boat. For example, taking the time to understand what your clients' likes and dislikes are, understanding that when they feel seen and heard, you are buying a stickier relationship, and it also fills your cup as well. So I think that gone are the days of marketing in the traditional sense with business cards and billboards. Those things are all great. But I think that the most important way to market with heart is to pour into the clients that you have currently in unique ways that will then turn them into walking billboards for other potential clients or people within their circles. And you're doing it in a really intentional and genuine way.
I like to shift our conversation towards during your career journey. Have you had any role models? Have you had any mentors who help you shape your career path, career perspective over the years?
I have. I've had a few. And the first one I would be remiss to skip over is my dad. So, my dad was a business owner. I actually just lost him about 8 weeks ago.
Ah, sorry
But
about that.
thank you. But, watching him build a business from the ground up and riding next to him during the summers as he was, out seeing clients and seeing the highs and lows, the goods and bads. He never hid any of that for me and always found a lesson in something he was going through. I carry it with me today now as an adult and, really showing me the things that once you see them firsthand, you'll never forget what it takes with grit and relatability and paying attention to the small details of things. He was such a mentor to me in all of those ways and also showed me that, never forget the reason that we decide to be business owners. And that is to be in control of our own destiny, to be able to have autonomy of time and scheduling where business owners work more than anybody does, but we are empowered to work it around the things that are most important to us. And he lived that every single day, and I'll always be thankful. And then as an adult, I also have a best friend who's one of my partners, and he came from very humble beginnings and has built a firm that is truly making an impact on hundreds of people. And it's because of grit and creativity and never giving up and always betting on yourself and always, always putting the client first. And seeing these two people and the commonalities has given me the roadmap to know there is no cheat code, but doing what's right, creating a sticky relationship, and treating your client like you would want to be treated is the way to success. And never let anyone outwork you.
If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would?
Oh man. I think the one thing I would say is I find that a lot of business owners are dreamers and visionaries. And I know one of the mistakes that I made was it, bringing people onto my team for the end result instead of where I was at the moment. And it definitely impacted the bottom line. So, I know that there's old sayings that you hire before you need someone. And I do believe that, because if you wait until you're ready, it's too late. However, I also think that it's important to realize that there are steps to take, and bringing somebody on in a part-time capacity or in a position that they can grow and evolve into something as your business does, so that they are keeping up with each other, is the right way to do it. And I had to learn that the hard way, most definitely.
Is there a book, a show, a movie that help you shape your career perspective?
So there are so many, but if I had to pick one, I would say that the compound effect, and I'm sure I'm not the first person that said that on your show, but to me, what I love about that is realizing that anything compounding is going to, make an imprint on what you're trying to do, whether it's daily practices, whether it's what you're saving or investing. I think that it's so important for all of us to remember that small things stacked on top of each other over time create something that is immeasurable. And the only person that's in charge of that is ourselves. So it's, how do we do one thing each day that is building and stacking on top of something else to move the needle? Don't have to do it all in one day, but try and do one thing that moves you closer to that direction, and then do that again and again and again.
What is your biggest interest and passion outside of work?
Oh, I mean, spending time with my kids and husband and family, of course. And when we're together, we love to travel. I mentioned I moved to Italy with my best friend in my first jaunt as an entrepreneur, and that had a big impact on me. So I love travel, international travel. I love Italy more than anything, and really just experiences. If I can find a way to do something fun and then make it a core memory, that's my absolute favorite thing to do, even the simplest of things.
If you had a chance to go back history, personally or historically, to what time period would you like to go back and why?
I have two. Can I have two?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So one of them is I would love to go back to England during, the time of the kings and queens, and let's say like the 17 and 1800s. It's always really intrigued me, and I don't know why, but I think that the lifestyle, and everybody was outside, and it was simple, and there was fresh air, and everyone got dressed up to go to dinners and parties and just spend time together, I think would be amazing. I would love to do that. And I also have always been really intrigued by the Roaring 20s. I think it was such a time of abundance, and everybody was having fun. And, there was big growth. Everything seemed grand and special. And I would love to be there and just leave before the Great Depression.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Yeah, yeah,
Timing is everything after all, so that's great.
that is 100% right. Yes.
I love it. Well, what is your career advice for the next generation coming into the job market? So times are changing. Getting
Yeah.
entry level jobs are getting more difficult than before. That's a fact. Not that it was easy in the past, but it's getting more challenging and competitive nowadays. So from that point of view, I love you to share your career advice with the next generation.
So my career advice would be to choose a career or a path based on the life that you want, not necessarily just based on something that you enjoy. So I will use the example of, if you love children, let's say, you don't necessarily have to be a teacher to work with kids. And let's say it's really important that you, as a parent, take your kids to school every day and pick them up from school every day. If you're a teacher, you're not going to be able to do that. So I feel so often we tell people, oh, if this interests you, go to college and do this job. Instead of saying, imagine yourself at 20 or 30 or 40 or 60, and what does life look like? And then if they say, well, I'm traveling a lot, or I'm not working in the summers, or I am able to, work a 10-hour day, 4 days a week, and then on the fifth day, I golf with friends. I think that it's really important to align what your perfect version of life looks like with a career that will help you get there. And anything that you're passionate about can be turned into a career. It's just finding what life looks like first, and then finding the career path that will get you there. So don't just pick a career, pick a life. That would be my advice.
For those who like to continue this conversation with you, what is the best way to be in touch with you, company and services?
So my consulting company and Women in Wealth, you can find me on Instagram at women_in_wealth, and send me a message there. Of course, my website, it's womeninwealth.co. And then I have a podcast of my own called Talk Wealthy to Me, and you can find that on all of the streaming platforms that are out there. And I'm excited to meet new people and new friends from the show.
Well, Michelle, thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule. It was a great conversation, very informative, and thank you for sharing your professional insights and your professional wisdom with us this afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me, Kevin. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much, and I wish you a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you very much. Well, to our audience and to our listeners, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was actually very informative. Well, Women in Business is actually a cause that we love to promote in the podcast, and I'm glad that we had these episodes. That's a great opportunity to promote these cause, Women in Business, and already 40% of U.S. businesses are actually owned by women, which is great. It should be more, right? Why not? So that'd be great. So we love to continue and promote women in business in coming episodes as well. Well, there are more causes that we need to promote in the American Business Podcast. Women in business, nonprofits, as well as organizations that are focusing education. We are also very excited to promote books. If you have any published books, tell us about it. We love to promote it. And recently we started to promote and introduce conferences, trade shows, and other organizations that will be informative for businesses. In that sense, we are very happy that American Business Podcast is growing with educational content, and we are bringing you more experts, more professionals to share professional wisdom and professional insights. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com or americanbusinesspodcast@aol.com. We have 2 emails, and we are very responsive. Once you send us an email, you'll get a response within 24 hours from me or from one of my team members. So we'll make sure that we'll get connected and we'll get the conversation started. Also, we welcome advertisers, and as you noticed recently, we are getting more sponsors, more advertising to the American Business Podcast. We are very happy for your support and for your organization, company, and services. If you like to promote them in the American Business Podcast, you can send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail. Also invite you to our website, podcast.tv, americanpodcast.us, and you can see our coming schedule. You'll learn about the American Business Podcast, what we are up to, what we are doing. And you can also see our coming subject matter experts in the American Business Podcast. We update it weekly, every Sunday, and you can see coming week on the American Podcast.tv. As you know, a couple of months ago, we got the YouTube Silver Award. Thank you very much for your support. We truly appreciate it. And if you haven't done so, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. It is easy. It is right on your screen. If you scan this QR code on the screen, it'll take you to our YouTube page. You can subscribe to it. And if you are feeling more generous, you can also share your thoughts with us. Put your comments in the comment box, in the chat box, and you can join the conversation. We truly appreciate it, and we love to hear from you in the American Business Podcast. Great. What else? Let's talk about our sponsors. About Spot Corp events. If you are interested in building team spirit, if you like to organize an event to build your team and team spirit, consider Spot Corp events. That's a great company. We are also working with them, and they are good at what they do. And they organize events to build teams. That's actually their specialty. I had their QR code on the screen. When you scan it, it'll take you to their website, and you can learn more about their organization and their services, and make sure to use code ABP and mention them that you heard about them from the American Business Podcast. If you're in a it is highly regulated, and when it is recycle your laptops and other electronics, consider Popfish USA Sustainability Solutions. They are specialized in data destruction. They clean up all of your laptops, all of your hard drives in a safe environment, safe facility. And it's a great company. You love working with them, just like Spot Corp event. These are really great companies filled with great people. You'll enjoy doing business with them. And in the case of Popfish USA, they also document all their destructed data. So they'll send you any proof that you need, in addition to certificates and other documentation that your data, your hard drive or laptop or other electronics based on your need, actually destructed and eliminated. I had the pleasure of being in their secure facility, and I've seen it with my own eyes, how they clean up all these hard drives, how they destruct and recycle the data and laptop and other electronics. That's amazing. So that's a great company, and if you need these recycling service, consider Popfish USA. Well, I hope you join. This morning, we had our online networking event called Connection America Business Alliance. We had a great conversation with our attendees. It was a great online networking event. And the next one, as you know, we organize these on monthly basis. Every month we have these. And so this month, actually streamed this morning. You can see the recordings in our YouTube channel. And for next month, if you like to join us, it is scheduled for December 19, 2025. And we are starting at 10 a.m. Eastern time zone. You can join us. You can introduce your products. You can introduce your company. And at the same time, you can network and meet with other business professionals. Furthermore, it'll be the American Business Podcast, meaning while you are networking with other business professionals, at the same time you'll be on the American Business Podcast in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast followers and subscribers. So that's what is unique about this networking and at the same time being on the American Business Podcast. So I hope you join us. Please scan this QR code if you're interested. Save your seat. We have limited registration available. And once you scan the QR code, it'll take you to our registration page. You can sign up and join us on December 19 for our online business networking event. The reason, also I need to mention, the reason we put together this event is the American Podcast is about thought leadership, content, and educational content. In the Connection America Business Alliance, we help you connect with other business professionals. So talking and taking action together on this platform. That is why we put together Connection America online networking event. If you like to learn Excel and other Microsoft Business software systems, consider Ms. Excel. They are specialized in fun and engaging way of teaching you how to use Excel and other Microsoft Business software systems. When you scan this QR code on the screen, it'll take you to their website. You can scan it and you can see their course catalog. Pick the courses that you like. Before you check out, make sure to use the discount code coming from American Business Podcast. It is ABP 2025. This is for Ms. Excel. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we started to promote conferences and trade shows and other events. And one of them is Live to Lead. That is scheduled for January 23rd, 2026. I'm also planning to be there. If you're interested in leadership, both for individually how you can actually build yourself to be a great leader, and at the same time how you can also help other team members be a great leader. You can also help your team members to be a leader as well. So that's a great conference that is actually gonna be brought to you by Beauchamp team. Joseph Beauchamp will be there. Joseph is a guru. I had the chance of to him yesterday at one of the networking events that actually I facilitated, and he has a great connection with the audience, great knowledge he has, and there is a lot to learn. You'll love his way of teaching. I personally like it very much. I hope you'll like it too. So at this event, Live to Lead conference, Long Island, it is scheduled for January 23rd, 2026, next year. What time flies? So make sure to sign and save your seat. I hope you join us. I have the QR code on my screen for you to sign up. All right, what else is happening? iTech Consulting. If you're in the market for SAP ERP or Oracle ERP software systems, ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning for those team members who are listening but not familiar. The ERP system designed for accounting, other activities on one platform, and iTech is specialized in SAP and Oracle software implementation, configuration, and support services. They are, if you scan this QR code website, you can learn more about the company and their services, and you can get in touch with them. And make sure you mention the American Business Podcast to get some discount. That's it for today. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to having you in the next The American Business Podcast episode. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. I wish you a great weekend. Thank you very much.